The hottest funny books in the cosmos, the comics defining this generation of collectors.
DC Comics fighting for relevancy on this list, plus we have some newcomers and some familiar faces.
Another week, another list of the comic books that are shattering records, causing a ruckus in the marketplace. Hit the like, slap the subscribe, and at the list at number 10, one of our favorites, Jem, we got Matt Murdock, Karen Page, Foggy Nelson, Yellow Daredevil, Daredevil number 1 from 1964.
That's right, and we're seeing the trickle-down effect from that 2021 9.8 sale that went for $250,000. We have only 2 sales to report on, but some high-dollar ones. A CGC 9.2 sold for $30K back in June. It's up 40%, now selling for $42,000.
And then we have a 9.4. To give you perspective, back in 2020, this was a $33,000 book, which is why Jem and I were pointing to this being one of the last remaining Marvel blue chip books that you can get in on before it blows up. Then the comic boom happened. In 2021, we saw a 9.4, the prior record being set for $67,850. This week, it's up 6%, selling for $72K. Hot damn.
$72K for Daredevil, putting us some strong numbers. Just like number 9 on our list, we got Tomb of Dracula, issue 10, the first appearance of Blade.
Blade spec has been strong since the movie announcement, putting Mahershala Ali as the actor who's going to portray the vampire hunter. Then we had Eternals, a voice at the end of the movie, someone talking to Dane Whitman, and it was courtesy of the director that let us know that that voice was indeed Blade. These books have been spiking quick and strong ever since then. We have a 2.5 back in July going for $890, up 12%, now selling for $1,000. And then we have a 7.5 back in April going for $2,500, up 21%, selling for $3,030. And then we have 296 sales to report on. Jem, these happened in the same week, and they're $4,000 apart. What the hell?
That's right, 2 sales, $4,000 apart, and the last time this book broke record, it was in July of 2021. It sold for $15,500. In November of 2021, it took a little bit of a dip, selling for $12K. Then we have the 2 sales this month, just 4 days apart. The CGC 9.6 that sold on April 4th went for even less, $11,400, and it's got a date stamp. Then 4 days later, we have a record-breaking sale. It's only up 1% from the July 2021 sale, but selling for $15,600.
We mention this all the time. Not all grades are the same. You have to consider eye appeal. On the lower priced copy that sold days earlier for $11,400, we see a date stamp on the top left. We also see a little bit on the bottom right that the spine isn't as aligned as the copy that sold for over $15,000. You actually can see a little bit of a page there, and this is within a slab. It is in there. That is the grade as is. But when you look at the more expensive copy, you definitely notice what looks like to be maybe some overspray on the very top of the comic. And then I'll direct your vision to the bottom left. That corner looks more frayed than the copy that sold for less. Don't you think, Jem?
You know, a lot of times when we do these comparisons, it's pretty easy to see why the one book sold for more than the other. This one, not so much, and typically you get a premium for date stamps. I mean, that's like a rare, unique kind of thing that CGC obviously doesn't mark off for, so tough to call on this one.
We want to hear what the community thinks about these comparisons. Comment. It'll enter you to win this Omni-Man Invincible number 1. Help us reach 55K on this channel. And at the list, at number 8, we have Batman 251 from 1973, Neal Adams goodness. The best Joker cover of all time.
Amazing artwork and an important issue that would take Joker from a comical villain to a homicidal maniac. And we told you DC Keys severely underrated right now. We have a CGC 5.0 sold for $500 back in June, up 20%, selling for $600.
The 7.0 in July went for $875. No change, but selling consistently, making this 9.4 look pretty promising. Back in May, going for $2,675. I'll remind you, this book has hit lows as of just 2019 of $886 in this grade. Last record is now up 21%, now selling for $3,250. And I'll remind the community about the January 2021 high, a 9.8 that sold for $11,100. This book has room to grow.
Before we jump into the next number on this list, Tom, let them know where we're getting all this data from.
Key Collector Comics, the best comic book app in existence. We love it. Butch does. And you will too. Use code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription of the app. Get access to this information before we even hit the mic. Catalog your comics, get suggested pricing, and so much more. Next, at the list at number 7, M'Baku Spec is still going strong with Avengers 62, debuting in 1969.
Now, we've seen M'Baku on film multiple times, but he could be the next Black Panther. So yes, spec book for sure, and these sales prove it because we have some with no prior records. We have an 8.5 that just sold for $680, no change, holding steady with its February sale. Then we got the 9.4, which sold for $906 back in January, up 99%, now selling for $1,800.
These records are going to continue to rise because we haven't seen a 9.8 sell publicly until this last week. A gorgeous looking copy selling for $19,200. Hot damn, that's a lot of green. And considering that we know Black Panther 2 is likely going to feature this hero, and we have the world of Wakanda coming to Disney Plus soon, there are multiple reasons beyond the Black Panther spec alone to look at this book very seriously.
And you also got to consider there's only 3 CGC 9.8s on the census. Now let's compare that to Avengers 57, the first appearance of Vision, which has 13 in a 9.8, and that book sells for $26,500.
Considering a 9.8 sells for that much of the first appearance of Vision, it makes me look at M'Baku's first appearance very closely, but also, is Vision's first appearance undervalued? I gotta know the community's thoughts in the comment section below while we chat about some Jack Kirby goodness at number 6. Uncanny X-Men, number 6, at number 6, from 1964.
This is the issue where they confirm Namor to be the first mutant in Marvel Comics, which can kind of tie in with my how Namor brings the X-Men into the MCU theory, but more on that later.
Jem, I know you're specking hard on FF4. You picked up a couple copies of the first Silver Age appearance of Namor. Do seeing keys like this get you hyped every single week?
You know I always get excited when Namor makes the list. I hope to see the FF4 starting to make the list soon.
All right, well, we have a 0.5 entry-level copy going for $200 back in 2021. That's up 45%, selling for $290. The 2.5 going for $272 in December is up 29%, selling for $350. And what's this? Yeah, we have more records on this book this week. A 3.5 going for $450 in March, up 10%, selling for $495.
And that's not all. The CGC 9.0 sold for $2,960 in January, and it's up 5%, now selling for $3,120.
With so many records broken for this book, I had to look at the data. What are the 9.2s doing in the marketplace? Well, consider this. In 2019, it had a low of 1436. The last high sale for this book at a 9.2 was in February of this year, selling for $3,720. That is just a little less than $600 more than what a 9.0 goes for. I think there is so much room on this book.
Not to mention, it's a single-digit Silver Age X-Men book. Moving on to number 5 on the list, a book I don't think has ever made the list, and I don't think we thought it would make the list. Incredible Hulk, issue 6, the first appearance of the Teen Brigade.
This is the issue where the initial Hulk run would end because sales weren't great. We wouldn't see the Hulk reintroduced until Tales to Astonish 59, a classic battle between the Hulk and Giant Man. And then in issue 60 of Tales to Astonish, we would see the story continue from Hulk 6. And then it would take 5 years later before Hulk would get his own run in Incredible Hulk issue number 102. Why would issue 6 get the kind of love that it's getting? Let's show them the numbers and then hypothesize why.
Yeah, let's start with the 3.0. It sold for $998 in March of this year. No change really, selling for $1 more, $999. Then we have the 7.5, which sold for $1,600 back in 2019. This new sale puts it up 109%, selling for $3,349.
But take a look at this 8.0. Is that trickle down effect on its way? We have a $2,800 sale back in November, half a grade bump up from the last reported sale, an increase of 136%, selling for $6,600. That's over a $3,000 difference for half a grade point up.
So here's what I think about this book. You have Incredible Hulk 1, which continually becomes more and more out of reach. So you have the first issue of the series, and then here's the last issue. Also, you have Rick Jones, shares his first appearance with Hulk in issue 1. Well, this is the first appearance of his team that he puts together, and maybe collectors are trying to put together those secondary supporting cast first appearances.
Yeah, that's very astute, Jem. I mean, when you consider that this is the last issue of the run and sales being super low at this time, this makes it very difficult to secure in high grade because it was likely the lowest printed of the batch. And then we've also seen key books emerge for spec, such as classic covers, battles on covers, villains versus heroes for the first time, hero team-ups for the first time, but then also milestone key comics. Issue 6 being the last time we would see the Hulk until he would come up in Tales to Astonish makes this an extra attractive book to own.
Keeping the list moving with number 4, another DC book, another Batman book. We have Batman issue 189 from 1967, the first appearance of the Scarecrow in the Silver Age, but really it's only his third appearance overall.
That's right. If you can't get his first appearance from 1941 in World's Finest issue number 3, a book that hardly ever shows up in the marketplace, you can look at his second appearance. It's also his first cover appearance, debuting in Detective Comics issue 73 from 1943. It's for this reason why we keep pointing to classic DC keys, because the Golden Age appearances are so incredibly expensive that the average buyer has to hunt for the Silver Age. And that's why we're seeing monster interest in this book.
I'm just happy that the community respects the first Silver Age appearance of the Batman Rogues Gallery. A CGC 4.0 sold for $386 back in July. It's up 10%, selling for $425. Then we have the 9.0, which sold for $1,400 back in 2021, and that's up 20%, selling for $1,680.
We got a 9.8, last record being set in 2020 for $15,202, up 38%, breaking the 20K marker, landing at $21,000. As of the date of this filming, Batman is joining HBO Max, and everyone can watch it multiple times at home. At the list at number 3, Strange Tales 110, debuting in 1963. We have the first appearance of Dr. Stephen Strange.
With Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness inching closer and closer, collectors are putting some respect on his name, making this the blue chip key that it deserves to be, that it would be if it wasn't for that damn cover.
I love how this is our main point whenever trying to justify how low this book sells for. Let's take him back through history to demonstrate how long it actually took Doctor Strange to make it on the cover. Debuting in July 1963, we have the number on the list, Strange Tales 110. Strange Tales 111, we have the second appearance of Doctor Strange, not on the cover. Strange Tales 114, the third appearance of Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange is not on the cover. Then we have Strange Tales 115, the origin of Doctor Strange. This is the issue where we find out how he became super, the accident that damaged his hands, a major moment, and he is absent on this cover. It wouldn't be until March 1964 in Strange Tales issue number 118 that we would see Doctor Strange on the cover. He's on about 1/7. He made the banner.
On the cover or not, the CGC 3.0 sold for $3,888 back in November, but is up now 3%, selling for $4,000.
The 4.5 going for $5,500 in June had no change, but this is a big number showing consistency, selling for $5,520. People think this book will continue to move up. That's why they're investing now at the same record-breaking price.
And then everybody might want to get their umbrellas out for the potential trickle-down effect on this one. The CGC 8.5 sold for $18,888 back in June. It's up 40%. It just sold for $26,400.
If you like what we do, we've been here every single week for over a year, supporting the community and trying to provide you with the most accurate information, the health of the comic book marketplace. Give me an excuse to send you comics every single month. Hit ComicTom101.com, link in the description. One per box. We are sending out a Boys number 7, the original run, a reprint of the Garth Ennis hit series. Boys Season 3 is in June, so we had to get the community ready with a Ben Templesmith Starlight cover. We've made 3 different versions going out at random. Support the show, hit the link, and at the list at number 2 independent comic greatness. We have, from 1989, James O'Barr goodness, The Crow #1.
Now, as much as I like to see Namor hit the list, Tom loves to see The Crow hit the top 10, and we have third printing record breakers and first prints to report on. Let's start with the third printing. The 7.5 sold for $250, no prior record, setting the bar. The 9.0 has a prior record, though, selling for $210 back in 2020, up 150%, selling for $525.
Then we have the first printing, an 8.0, for the second appearance of Crow, going for $900, matching its prior record set in May. Then we have a 9.8, which we haven't seen come to the market. The closest thing we saw was a signed copy. Well, back in July, this book went for $9,600, and we knew we would see an uptick because casting has been called. We have an increase of 50% for a very difficult to secure and high grade book, selling for $14,400 after the news broke that Bill Skarsgård, you know him for portraying Pennywise in the Stephen King modern day classic It, is set to portray Eric Draven.
All right, guys, before we jump into #1, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment below, and we got to continue to talk about Doctor Strange. It's funny, #3 on the list was his first appearance, but #1 is his first solo titled comic.
That's right, at the list at #1, the hottest comic book in the world. Getting ready for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness debuting in 1968. We have Doctor Strange, issue number 169. The origin of Doctor Strange retold, a classic cover, and not 4, but 5 different record breakers this week, and a book that has not come off our list in weeks.
Yeah, that's right. It was #3 on last week's list, and it was #1 2 weeks ago. Let's start with that 3.0. It sold for $275 back in February. It's up 37%, now selling for $378. Then we have the 4.0. It sold for $375 back in February, and it's maintaining up 1%, now selling for $380. And then we have the mid to high grade 7.0, which sold for $807 back in March, and that's up 12%, now selling for $900.
Then we move up a whole lot in grade quality with the 9.4 in January going for $3,600. That's up 6%, now selling for $3,810. And then we have a 9.6 prior record set in 2021 for $5,061. That's up 54%, now selling for $7,800. The growth on this key comic book cannot be understated, Jem.
But we can try to paint a picture by comparing the 2020 average sales versus the 90-day average. So 2020 average for a 3.5 was $68 versus the 90-day, the last 3 months, an average of $306.
The 5.0 2020 average was a lonely $144. The recent 90-day average puts it at $434.
The CGC 7.5 in 2020 averaging $271. The 90-day average, $868.
Proving that this book was undervalued for years. The 8.5 2020 average was $425. The 90-day average is $1,240.
And then we have the CGC 9.6, the record breaker that we just reported on. Back in 2020, this book averaged $2,640. With this week's all-new record-breaking sale, that 90-day average is now $6,275.
Are you as hyped for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as these investors clearly are? I gotta know in the comment section below. And, as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Join myself, Jem Mint, and all my friends every single Wednesday on the best new app to buy and sell collectibles, Whatnot. Available for both Androids and iPhones. Dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. We're bringing slabs. We're bringing keys. We're bringing exclusive drops and giveaways galore. Join us on the app, support what we do, hit the link in the description, and check out these other videos. We made them for you.